People who've been arrested outside the slaughterhouse coming out, escorted by police, arrested for bearing witness to what's going on in this slaughterhouse, as hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people gather to support them. Dwayne Shung in the white shirt is the head of Direct Action Everywhere. He was also arrested. They're taking some of these folks out one by one. As you can see, they're handcuffed and they're being put in squad cars. This lady here is being arrested, and she is also being put in a squad car. She was sitting down on the slaughterhouse floor and wouldn't leave. And she felt that it was her obligation as a moral person to bear witness to these animals and not leave, even if it meant getting arrested. So she's willingly getting arrested, and these folks are part of a burgeoning movement where they are arguing that these animals are not just property, they're individuals, and if they're in pain and they're suffering, that they have a right to remove them as part of open rescue, because there are laws against animal cruelty. So you have this young lady also getting arrested, and there is media here, and more media coming as the word of all these arrests continues. And there she is. You can see that Oakland police are here. This is a slaughterhouse with many different animals. Lambs, I believe, goats, chickens, as well as rabbits, and we saw these animals when we were inside, and chickens were certainly the most animals, just like they're the most animals that are eaten in this country. They're killed and consumed by the billions, but they're all individuals who have feelings, who experience terror, who experience fear, and who suffer when they're injured or put in crates the size of their bodies or even smaller than the size of their bodies, as we heard some describe. I saw a chicken with blood on its head. I saw chickens that appeared to be dead. And we have a gauntlet here that's formed as people who are inside are taken out and arrested. This has been going on for quite a while now, and hundreds of people remain. They are not leaving, and they are staying here. So, wait, you got arrested and already released?
Yes.
And so, what was it like? What did it feel like? And maybe, yes, what did it feel like?
Well, the conditions in the slaughterhouse are hideous, and we sat on the floor in the filth. We didn't want to leave until we could take out every single animal in there, because the suffering that I just went through for the last hour or two is nothing compared to what these animals are going through. And I went onto the kill floor, where you just see chicken heads just lying on the ground, or chicken legs and feet as if they're just trash. And then you go into the other room, and then you see the chickens that are alive that still have their feet, still have their heads, and it's disgusting. It's just a level of violence that should not be happening in this country of affluence when there's so many other things to eat. We do not have to exploit and abuse these animals to live. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so I'm very proud to be here. And
oh, here comes another person who's been arrested. Sorry to interrupt. Alexandra Paul, the actress Alexandra Paul. She is a TV and film actress, and there she is. There she is, handcuffed and being taken out. Alexandra Paul, the actress. You've probably seen her in many movies. Oh,
they're twins.
Oh, they're twins. They're twins. I'm sorry. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Wow, they're twins.
Why.
Okay. It's not the actress Alexandra Paul, it's her twin.
But
there you go. They are both
activists. Alexandra and Caroline, they're sisters, they're twins.
Firefighters.
And they're both, and I believe Alexandra actually may even be inside there in the slaughterhouse.
Oh, so they were both in there, because I
know Alexandra was here.
Yeah. Okay. So wow. I did not know that Alexandra Paul had a twin sister. Now I know. And they're both heroes. They are both heroes who are just getting arrested. And hi, I'm sorry I confused you with your twin sister.
That's okay. That happens a lot.
Yeah, is she there?
She's still inside.
Wow!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So you're both inside.
Yeah.
And so, can you describe very briefly what the experience is in there?
Yeah, it's really hard to breathe in there. We watched roosters in overcrowded cages just trample each other, and there's no food and water where the little chicks are, or they look like younger, smaller birds. No food and water at all.
And the smell.
It's really hard to breathe in there, and and they're all standing on wire on top of each other, so they just poop and pee on each other, and there's lots of fighting going on in there because of the stress. And like I said, we've seen a bunch of dead birds. It's really.
And again, like
It's kind of if you do eat poultry.
Maybe that's your sister coming out. Here we go. We've got somebody coming out. Let's see who it is. Maybe not. Nobody came out. But anyway, I'd like you to finish your thought if you can, very briefly, because I thought that was important. If you do eat.
Well, if you do eat chicken, you have to realize like the conditions those chickens, that poultry is in before it gets killed. I mean, you might think that you're just eating meat, but what you're doing is being part of a long chain of cruelty. That it is hard to know about unless you've seen it. Like I'm shocked. Like I'm shocked. I'm shocked at the conditions. No food, no water, packed really tightly. It's depressing.
Thank you for sharing.
she's out.
All right, the police are going back in, and we'll see what's happening. Here's one of the other people who was arrested, Wayne, along with the young lady he's hugging.
Had like a garbage can that had like I saw one live hen in the garbage can, and we tried to talk to the workers, and they all left, and then we like linked arms around the garbage. So I don't know where that hen went. I didn't see her after, but then we found the quail, and I don't know how many we were able to save. But so we were in there for a while, just like standing there.
Kitty,
really.
You don't even know this, but what happened outside? Did you see what happened with the quail?
No, we couldn't see anything.
One of the officers was so moved by the situation that the officer paid for the quail to be released and rushed to the vet. The officer who the slaughterhouse called to arrest us and get us out of here.
The officer went to the vet?
No, he paid. He paid the slaughterhouse to have the bird released.
That's beautiful.
All right, so somebody's just about to come out.
Thank you so much.
There's others in there.
Yeah, there's so many cages, and there's like 10 walking around.
I know.
And it gets so close, you could just pick her up, but you can't.
Yeah.
So it's just sad.
What is here?
Wayne.
The news is
Wayne,
now
the news is here.
NBC News. That's good. NBC News showing up.
Folks,
Alexandra Paul, the actress, is here. Alexandra, what was it like?
Thank you. I never want to go in again, but I will.
Alexandra Paul, the actress, getting arrested. She's getting a rousing round of applause. Her twin sister, who was also arrested, and there she is right now. The actress Alexandra Paul, you've seen her in many movies and TV shows. She has been arrested, and she is being cuffed right now. And, actually, they're taking the cuffs off. I guess they cuffed her inside. So, more are coming. More are coming. More people inside. Okay, there's another one. Arrested for animals. And another one. Arrested for animals. And they're getting a standing ovation from the activists who have gathered here. They are getting a standing ovation and applause for the arrest that they experienced. And these folks say if it's going to raise awareness about animal cruelty, we are willing to get arrested. So these folks are heroic. It's kind of interesting that Channel 4 has shown up now at the end of many, many hours, but I guess better late than never. This is an extraordinary situation. And these folks are having their cuffs taken off as they sign some paperwork. They are, according to what I've gotten a sense of, they're being charged with trespassing. But this is an amazing event. Alexandra Paul, the actress, hugging Wayne Chung, the head of Direct Action Everywhere.
So we got NBC News here. Looks like here's the reporter.
Yeah.
And Priya's going to do a little interview.
Oh, wonderful.
About what you saw. Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm Wayne.
Hi, Wayne. How are you? Hi, Priya.
Do you want to...
Be right back. I have to check in with the business. Okay, great.
Why did you go? Why did you do this? Why did you come in here and be a stand for them?
I came in with this group of people because I want to spread the word of what's really going on behind the meat that Americans eat. It is dirty, it is cruel, it is unnecessary, it is unhealthy, and people who eat meat need to see behind that neat little clean package what's really going on.
Thank you so much, Alexandra.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
And thank you, Jane, for being
Thank
here.
you for being here. I confused you with your twin sister.
Did you?
And then
My
everybody's
sister came
like,
out.
no, that's not Alexandra. But
activism runs in our family, and veganism runs in our family.
Well, you're very lucky, and you're very brave. You're very brave, and I admire you.
No, Jane, thank you for everything that you do. Because without you and you and you, what we do would not be noticed.
And as Channel 4, you probably want to talk to them because they've gotten here, even though a little late after the action.
You were here though early. You were here on time.
This is the actress Alexandra Paul, who just got arrested.
Nice to meet you.
She just got the cuffs off.
You and I are members of NHJ. I've seen you at conferences
Oh,
before.
wonderful. Well, pleasure. I'm so glad you're here.
It's my coverage here. She and I are part of the same journalism.
That's right. He was more excited to see Velez-Mitchell here reporting.
Well, we know each other.
We go way back.
From way back. Oh, look at this. Hugs all around. This is a very emotional moment. Just an incredibly powerful demonstration. What happened was, and maybe I'll turn the myself for a second while the action's in between the action. What happened was that Direct Action Everywhere said we're going somewhere. They didn't tell us where, and we followed them on the BART subway system to a slaughterhouse here in Oakland. Here's another person who was arrested coming out. They're coming out. There they are. Two more. Another one arrested. Another one arrested. How does it feel? How does it feel? Another one arrested. How does it feel? There we go. Another one arrested.
3 more activists were just out. John Frohmeyer recently also arrested.
So anyway, wow, it's very, very emotional, and all these folks want to just basically wake people up to, you know, what's happening in our so-called factory farms and our slaughterhouses, that if you're a decent person, you will not be cool with. And people don't want to see it. They want plausible deniability. They want to say they didn't know. And so Direct Action Everywhere says, no, we're going to go in there. We're going to show. We're going to show you so that you can't say you don't know. And we did. We went in there and showed. We were escorted out. We left, but we did show what was going on. So Lola K, for those ultimately who are the problem here, the people who eat animals, not the workers, not even the people who own this facility, because it's the law of supply and demand. What would you say to those people who, despite all of this, want to continue with their habit, even though nobody here who is part of this visual eats animals or animal byproducts, and we're standing here just fine, if not healthier than the average person, obviously? What would you say to those people?
Ask yourself why you keep supporting oppression and violence of animals. Why do you keep supporting something that you know is wrong? It is morally wrong. It's violent. These animals, just like many of us have dogs and cats at home, and we know if you pinch your dog, you pinch your cat, that your pet is going to yell in fear. Same happens to other animals. So just stop. Just stop.
Sorry to interrupt you, but here's another person who's been arrested, being free. There we go. Taken out of the slaughterhouse, cuffed. How many have there been now, Wayne?
I mean, I don't know. I was in a car. I think it's probably like 11 or 12 at least.
12 people arrested here. And it's pretty extraordinary what's been happening. But again, everybody here is trying to raise awareness to show that I'm willing to get arrested to show you, the consumer, what's going on behind these closed slaughterhouse doors. And that if you're a decent person who doesn't believe in cruelty and the punishment of the innocent, you need to look at your eating habits. A lot of hugging and kissing of those who've been arrested. Wow. There they are. It's a gauntlet, almost like a celebration of those who have been arrested. They are heroes, and they're being celebrated as such here in Oakland. Say to the folks who still eat animals?
I would say that it's unnecessary. It's absolute torture. Every day of their life is suffering. We rape, murder, torture, and kill these animals unnecessarily. I mean, you can be happy, healthy, strong, more vibrant than ever. I run obstacle course races. We have plenty of athletes that debunk the myth that being vegan is unhealthy. There are no excuses left, people. None. We have plenty of alternatives. There is no good excuse for any animal abuse.
And I just have somebody saying, well, you need to make vegan food cheaper. I think that's a cop-out, too, because...
there is no good excuse. I'm sorry,
well,
but...
I mean, a bag of potatoes, a sack of potatoes, a head of cabbage...
That's correct.
You can live on them for a long time.
For so many years, it was actually the poorest among us who were forced to be vegan, because the cheapest foods that there are vegan foods, whether it's rice, beans, grains, fruits, and vegetables. For a long time, it was only the rich that could afford the luxury of meat. Now, we make it so that everyone can afford this cruelty. We don't care about their suffering, and it's about damn time we started. There are no excuses. You can make anything expensive or cheap. It all depends on what your priorities are. And to us, their priorities are their lives.
Another person. Arrested and applauded for just being willing to risk arrest for animals, to highlight the plight of animals. And there's a lot of media here. There's a growing media presence. There's a lot of police.
Like, we don't want to. Sorry.
What?
Sorry, I totally.
No, you're not. No.
Hey, Jane.
Yes.
So I helped rescue the bunny from this place.
Thank you.
So I have a funny story about that bunny. So one of the things about living in these cages is that like bunnies have like a natural urge to chew because their teeth are always growing, and in these cages they have nothing to chew on. And when we rescued her, as she settled down and she was sitting on my lap, she actually found that the denim in my jeans was a very fun thing to chew on. So she gave me a couple holes in it. But, you know, anything for the animals. And, like, she's going to a sanctuary now, and she's going to be happy, safe, and free. So, like, I don't know. I just wish we could rescue all of them today.
I think we all feel that way, but, you know, they say when you've saved one life, you've saved the world. This has been an extraordinary afternoon. Tremendous activism, coordinated down to the minute. Hundreds of activists arriving at the slaughterhouse, led by Wayne Shung, who was in the white shirt, who got arrested himself, and was joined by numerous other activists who got arrested, including the actress Alexandra Paul and her twin sister. So we have been going live all afternoon at the historic event. I'll just talk to you as we wait to see who else might come out. We don't know if there's anybody who's still inside who's going to be escorted out. But essentially what happened is we went in, about 200 people, into this slaughterhouse in Oakland, and what we saw was disturbing. I personally saw and videotaped bloodied animals who appeared to be dead inside the cages, animals who were clearly in distress. 3 animals were taken out. I think it was a baby lamb or a baby goat. It's hard to tell. A rabbit and a bird. And at one point, the establishment quickly called the police. The police showed up right away. And what was so incredible was that the police officer, when the demonstrators said they would not pay for the animals they had taken because they don't regard animals as property, and they refused to pay for the animals that were taken, the police officer pulled out his own wallet and paid $3 to pay for the animals to try to defuse the situation. And he ended up getting a huge round of applause. So that was extraordinary. So here in Oakland, there are still hundreds of demonstrators. Local news media has shown up a little late in the game, but better late than never, because it's been very hard to get local media here in the Oakland, San Francisco area to cover these protests. And also The Intercept was here, which is a news organization that did an incredible write-up on Wayne Shung, who had been targeted by the FBI for rescuing some piglets. And the idea that the FBI was using tax dollars to chase after someone who rescued a couple of dying piglets was so upsetting that even members of Congress began commenting to the point of, what the hell is the FBI doing? So that story got written up in the Washington Post and The Intercept. And then The Intercept sent a camera crew here today to cover this event. So we're seeing kind of a breakthrough for the first time after a lot of these vigils and protests have been completely ignored by mainstream media, as if they haven't happened. Where only us, Jane Unchained, was there, and we're thrilled. We're thrilled that mainstream media is picking up on this. Now let's hear from Wayne, the head of Direct Action Everywhere.
We're just trying to get a count for the media.
What?
Raise your hand if you're arrested. We're trying to get a count for the media. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 so far.
Did you get those 2?
I got those 2.
Over here. Nathan.
17 so far.
And yourself.
Yeah, I counted myself.
So, yes, 17 people is what we've noticed has been arrested.
I know, yeah.
Including the actress Alexandra Paul. This young man, very articulate, and I'd have to say, best dressed protester of the day, who was arrested, and he said he did it, and he texted a friend that he was part of history, and I do believe this is part of history. This is history in the making, as people stand up and say, we're not going to tolerate this cruelty to animals. We're just not going to put up with it.
That's correct. It's about time we stopped.
Do you see a change, a cultural change happening?
Absolutely. I mean, the rise of veganism has gone up, I believe at last check, almost 500%. I mean, in the last year to 2 years, it's been incredible, the change in what's available every day when you go to any supermarket. Instead of just buying this, you shift your hand 2 inches and you buy that, and it saves their lives.
And do you see a shift as somebody who actually broke down, emotionally after seeing what you saw in there, in terms of people saying, hey, this is intolerable?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen a shift, and I feel like I meet more and more people who are like, I find out they're vegan, I ask how long, it's like, a month, 3 months, so it's definitely growing exponentially, and just the availability of things. I had a co-worker who went to this place called Flying Falafel in Berkeley.
Hold on 1 second, we've got one more. Oh, I thought there was one more person who was arrested coming out. Continue.
Anyway, she got what she thought was a chicken wrap. But it was, a vegan restaurant, so it was a CHAK''N wrap. She's like, oh, I got this chicken wrap. Like, it's so good. Didn't even realize it wasn't chicken.
Yeah.
So things are accelerating big time. Yeah.
Somebody just said more of them should be arrested. What do you say to those people?
I can't understand that thinking. I mean, sure, it's illegal, so go ahead, arrest every one of us. It's not going to stop us. Not one little bit. You can arrest every single person that's here, and we'll just fight harder because we know what we're fighting for, and it's the right thing.
I think that, as somebody says, there's no excuse not to be vegan. That's Shauna Sherrick. I think people are feeling put on the spot. Like, we're exposing, this movement is exposing what's happening to these animals. And I'll say it a million times, I don't blame the workers.
No.
I don't even really blame the industry. It's the consumers that are continuing all this horror by their choices. And I think that people are starting to look at them and say, hey, it's you.
That's right. The power is in our hands. It comes down to supply and demand. The only way to make the change is by doing it yourself, and there is no reason not to do it. I understand. I was on the other side. We all were. We all understand where people are coming from, and we have compassion for that. But once you open your eyes, and once you open your heart, and once you see the truth, and you apply logic, there's no other choice. There just isn't. I mean, you can hold on as tight as you want to the other side, but it just isn't right. And once you break yourself free, there's nothing but happiness.
Wow. Well said. Well said. How long have you been vegan?
I've been vegan a 1.5 years now, so I'm still new at this.
Oh, wow.
And I've never felt better.
Well, thank you so much for your very articulate comments. And, this has just been, I think it's really been a breakthrough because we have, take a look at this. This is the mainstream media covering this. Now, they have had marches with thousands of people where they haven't had any coverage, where people have just, the local stations have just pretended like it hasn't happened. 1,000 people went into the San Francisco Ferry building. No media coverage, but this is getting media coverage. I see it as a breakthrough. What do you see it?
Oh, hell yeah. Strength in numbers, and that's what we need to see. It's just everybody, education is important, but it's not enough. We have to educate and motivate, and we have to gather together in strong numbers and take decisive action. That's what we did here today, and we're going to keep doing it.
Wow. It's really, really extraordinary. So I'm just going to wrap up by saying I've been very proud to be a part of this. I actually gave a speech to DXE this morning. I did not realize it was going to be such a momentous day. And then they said, we're doing something, follow us. And I said, okay. And when I jumped on the BART, and the next thing you know, here they are making history, getting arrested, including the actress Alexandra Paul, all led by Wayne Shung of Direct Action Everywhere and his incredible team, which includes Priya, I don't want to mispronounce her last name. What? Sahani, Priya Sahani. And yes, why don't we give a chance to do the final word here. So, wow, what an incredible day. Sum it up for us.
Absolutely. We went inside of the slaughterhouse, hundreds of activists holding red flowers, tied flowers to the cages of animals, and then sat on the floor. Some of them sat on the floor. I actually might not have been there for that, but we rescued 3 animals. We took them out of here. They are now on their way to the vet, and while a lot of us were outside, dozens of activists were inside. They were arrested, and we're still waiting for 5 more to be arrested and cited, and they're going to come out. And we have so much news, local news media stations here who are waiting to cover this, because this is something that's exciting and also something that's never happened before. And I just want to thank everyone who has joined us on live stream, and also we're still here standing with sadness in our hearts for those we could not take today.
And there's hundreds of animals inside this building.
Hundreds.
Some of them were in garbage cans.
Some of them were in garbage cans. You know, these garbage cans are bloody with the organs of animals, and one garbage can we opened, and that's where I found a little quail. She was waiting to be killed, just minutes away from death, but we were able to take her out.
And you felt her little beating heart.
Her heart was beating right next to mine, and when the police officer asked me if I would give her back, I said no way. And the police officer did pay $3 for her, and we were able to take her. So in many ways, that police officer is a hero, and we were able to take her out. She's on her way to the vet right now.
Thank you so much, Priya.
Thank you,
one
Jane.
of the leaders of this event. All right. We could go on for hours. I guess we're going to sign off for now, and but we're going to remain here as this event continues. Please share these videos with your friends, your non-vegan friends, so they can see that there's another way and that the world's changing. Thank you.